Doing tasks does not equal leadership.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Justin Harris.
Today's episode is sponsored by Alamode. Alamode can be found at alamode.com or 800 Alamode. And of course, OREP Insurance, OREP, is the insurance of choice for me. Should be you as well. OREP.org. That's OREP.org. I'm kind of on a high right now. I'm on a high because I just got back from Mastermind, and I love my Mastermind meetings. I get to attend them frequently. I get to sit in a room with appraisers across the nation. They fly in from everywhere, and we sit in a boardroom, typically comfortable chairs like the one I'm in right now, and we spend the entire day, with the exception of we break for lunch. We usually walk somewhere. We don't want to spend the all day in the same room. So we get a nice break to stretch our legs and walk to a local restaurant, and we have lunch together and talk about whatever. But to be in a room all day long with individuals who are positive, who are upbeat, who are, they've got their problems. They're there for the purpose of working on some of those problems, right? But they're there with a good attitude, and they're there to help each other to be the very best that they can be. They're there to be a boon, a tool, a strength to those individuals who need some extra help getting to where they want. A full mastermind, Napoleon Hill described the mastermind very succinctly as a group of people who are like-minded, working together for the same goal. And that's truly what these masterminds are. These are successful appraisers who meet together to help each other to be the very best that they can possibly be. And it's a joy. So I'm still on a high from a couple of days doing that and being together in a room. And so many lessons in leadership were taught during those 2 days. So many things were said from individuals who just get it, And one individual was very honest. And by the way, let me back up for just a second and set the stage. The other cool thing about a mastermind group is there are a variety of people there. Okay, they're in a variety of different situations. Not everybody has the exact same goal, right? Some people are very comfortable with the volume that they have, and they just want to maintain. Some people want more volume, want more work. Some people are transitioning from, AMC lender work to private work. Some people are just starting out. We have a couple of trainees in the mastermind, or individuals that have just started their practice. And then we have veterans that have been around a long time, okay, myself included, who are on the tail end of their career instead of the beginning of their career. And it's just a really cool mix. And we have people in variety of delegation levels as well, meaning there's individuals in that room that are doing everything start to finish. There's other individuals who run very large teams and work less than 10 hours a week, literally, right? And make, by the way, gross over $1 million a year in their appraisal business. Okay, it works. It's true. It's where I was before I sold my appraisal business, right? Working very few hours and yet grossing over $1 million a year on a pretty regular basis. It can be done. And by the way, it doesn't take that long to get there. An individual that I'm thinking of in my mind, 8 years ago, was on one end of the spectrum, and now is completely at the other end of the spectrum. But I digress. One of the things that was interesting and that came up in this latest mastermind was this idea of what is it that we do? What is our role? I'm not talking about what does an appraiser do. I'm talking about what does a leader do. If you are the leader of your company, okay, and fill in whatever title you want to give yourself, CEO, president, chief appraiser, office manager, janitor, I don't care. Whatever title you give yourself, if you serve in a leadership role, what is it that your job entails? What is it that you do? What is your responsibility? And one of the individuals was very, very vulnerable. One of the great things about the mastermind is people are not scared to say what's on their mind. And that's how they get the help that they need. Because we're honest, because we say it the way it is, people in the room relate and they can actually give us help because we're so honest. By the way, I've had individuals over the years who are not so honest, who are not so, I shouldn't say honest. Honest is not the right word. We're not so vulnerable. There's individuals who are more closed about their business practices, more closed-lipped about what they're doing. And those individuals don't get the kind of help that they want because we can't help somebody if we don't know what your situation is. Okay? Very, very obvious to most everybody. But in this latest mastermind, somebody was very, very open with them and us rather, and she was at the point in her business where she is working very few hours, yet doing doing a lot of business. We'll put it that way. Is very, very successful in her own right. The business that she's running, I think, from anyone's perspective, is a successful appraisal business. Okay. And she's working very few hours. And one of the things that she said, or maybe someone else said, I don't recall, there was a lot of conversation, but something that was said in that context was, I feel guilty when I'm not doing stuff. And we talked about that. And I thought it was just such an important thing to say and so vulnerable. And there were so many people in the room who had input on that. Okay. I feel guilty when I'm not doing stuff. Therefore, I do stuff sometimes just to look busy. I want to tell you some of the things that were shared in that context of the mastermind. But first, I want to pause and remind you that we're sponsored by a great couple of companies. First of all, of course, A la Mode. A la Mode is the software of choice for me. It is the software that I use pretty much daily to do the appraisal work that I do. And I'm not doing a lot of appraisal work, folks, but I will tell you, even in that context, it doesn't matter if you're on this side of the pendulum or far on the other side, A la Mode is the perfect software for you. Find out more by going to their website and checking out some of their tutorial videos. You'll find more about how to do and work with A la Mode than any other way. Check it out by going to A la Mode. Their website is found at www.alamode.com. Again, www.alamode.com. OREP, folks, this is where I go to get my insurance for E&O. Why? Well, number one, they're a broker. Okay, what does that mean? That may not mean much to you. Okay, it means a lot to me. When I go shopping for the best deal, right? Think of the process that you go through to find the biggest value for whatever thing you're shopping for. How would you like to off-shoulder that to someone else? And how would you like to do it when it comes to something as boring as insurance? Well, that's what an insurance broker does, and that's what OREP will do. It will take your current situation and it will shop to insurance companies and find the best value for you. I love that about OREP. I love that about them being a broker. One of the only ones out there, folks. They will save you money and they will find the best coverage for you. It's orep.org. That's OREP.org. Welcome back. Dustin Harris hanging out in the podcast chair. So good to have you with us. We're talking a little bit about a mastermind group that I just got back from. And I absolutely love the mastermind groups that I attend. It is so fun to go to a foreign city and to rub shoulders with not just appraisers, but true appraisal business owners, people who want success, people who are looking for the ability to be better and do better, right? By the way, if you're interested in attending a mastermind, they are absolutely free for your first time. You can just check it out. Just try it out. No obligation. If you come and you don't like it and you don't want to sign up, then don't. Nobody's going to pressure you. Nobody's going to pressure you. Okay. Anyway, mastermind, we're sitting there. Someone said, I feel guilty when I'm not doing stuff. So I find myself finding things to do to keep myself busy. Okay. Now, one of the things that was said during the context of the conversation with this individual is that doing tasks does not equal leadership. Okay. It might have been me that said that brilliant thing. I don't know. Doing tasks does not equal leadership. Remember, folks, that being in leadership is something that we choose, right? But we don't always choose the situations that come to us, right? If we are in leadership, we will find that every day is a new day. Every day will bring something different than the day before. And it's not about how necessarily to handle each situation that makes yourself a leader. It's about leading. It's about setting an example. It's about doing the things that a leader does, right? And so this individual is thinking to themselves, well, a leader does, right? A leader is somebody who gets in the trenches and who fights alongside their brothers and sisters, right? Or is it, right? Ask yourself the question, what is leadership? Because sometimes I think we make the mistake that looking busy is a sign of leadership. Hey, look at me. Look how much work I'm doing. Now, don't get me wrong, okay? It drives me nuts to see leaders who are lazy, okay? To me, that's not leadership. If you're not willing and able to get dirty, if you're not willing and able to jump in when it needs done, when the work needs done, you are there to help with the work. If you're not that type of person, to me, folks, you are not a leader. But if you're feeling guilty that you always have to be doing something, there's something wrong maybe with your attitude about leadership. Leadership, in my opinion, folks, has less to do with work and more about, well, leading. Right. More about setting the example and being the individual that people can look up to, being the individual that can say, you know what, that person is a leader. That lady, that man, I can look up to and I can follow. That does not mean that you need to be doing all of the time. Now, we got into the weeds a little bit and we started talking about what does that actually mean, right? But in the end, folks, doing stuff does not equal leadership. Thank you for joining me today, folks. It's always a pleasure. Love hanging out with you here on the podcast chair. Please come back for another episode. Go create some value.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.